2025 early morning episode to start out the year. I've been in and out since our last entry, episode 5, but this one's going to be a little bit different because I think I've been a little bit too serious lately, all of this talking about death and what have you. And this year started off with a gift of shit to laugh at. So we is going to be ranting, scattershotting, putting my different thoughts out there. Remember, this is the listen show. If you got other shit to do, go do that. Find a little more serious shit elsewhere. So, but with that, just remember, at 25 is when human beings get their prefrontal cortex. So that's when you finally start to think about long-term consequences. That's when you finally start to think before you do as much, right? So before that part, you're just doing shit. You don't necessarily have the long-term thinking to be like, wait, maybe I should slow down. So we had a 24-year-old millennium, for instance, open the floodgates with the truth and everything else. Now we got a 25-year-old millennium that's got his brain set. So let's start off with Uncle Murda's wrap up. Annual tradition like Mariah. This wrap up this year was about 17 minutes. Fire as always. Please check it out on wherever you check your music out on the internet. But what I loved about this year's edition was this nigga caught everything down to the last moment. At the end of the track, he updated us on the situation with Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast in Jersey. That shit is hilarious, nigga. Uncle Murda, keep doing your fucking thing. Rick Ross is reacting, people reacting now, but as a creator, like it's inspiring to me to see this nigga over here come just gangster fucking mad skills as wrap up the Brooklyn way. Take that shit over, become the definitive voice. Like a little fucking Justina Valentine trying to do that shit as well. Like her shit's alright, but ain't nobody checking for nothing except for murder in these streets. Right on the heels of that, we got the fucking revelation that there's all kinds of sex scandals going on at Fox News. What? Well, Fox Sports FS1 and FS2. This is the home of Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch and Bill O'Reilly and all these other sex pests. What a surprise that you got other white producers doing this shit and Skip Bayless. Like, it's unfortunate that the brother Emmanuel Acho got his name brought up in this mess, and Sister Joy Taylor's getting her name brought up through the mud by this lady that she put on. But I got a little bit of I got a way different take than most people have. Everybody, oh my God, how could they do this? It's dirty. This is why I say to black people, be careful who the fuck you make your friends. This bitch got a job, got put on, was taken out to drinks. This is Joy Taylor's homegirl. And now you out here trying to disparage her name, put all of her business out because you was judging her the whole time y'all was cool. She gave you the play. Again, don't be careful who you let sit at your fucking table. This shit gets me thinking, like, if I'm a female, my pussy would be loosey goosey. Shorty turned down $1 million plus to sleep with Skip Bayless. Now I get it. That nigga look like the fucking crypt keeper, like the Walking Dead zombies. That nigga look like the Taskmaster mask before it was removed. That nigga look like the fucking Army of Two logo. You know what I'm saying? That nigga look like he died last weekend. But 1.2 mil, 1.5, how much ever, $1 million plus for that box? Like, nigga, what? Come. So I couldn't have two X chromosomes, bro. I tell you. Speaking of not having two X chromosomes, you got this Y chromosome female in Harlem stabbing niggas over a sandwich. That shit was nasty. Not gonna get too much into that shit, but be careful when y'all hanging out around these fucking Y chromosome females and their levels of aggression and blades, bro. These niggas will put you down faster than these YNs out here. Watch how you're moving in the streets. No disrespect to the loss of life of that fucking co-work, of that postal worker, who was stabbed up apparently over a sandwich. But we not serious and shit out right now. Anyhow, pushing on. Also in the news, we got fucking my favorite moment of the year thus far. Monday Night Raw moves to Netflix, and everybody's favorite racist nigga came out and, you know, and got this reaction. Editor, hit it.
And Netflix runs wild on you, maniacs.
Hopefully that shit don't get me copyright flagged for having all that shit in. But, you know, as a Moorish individual, person of color, whatever the fuck else you want to call it, black man, whatever applies to the diaspora, I am that. This nigga, I've often been disappointed with wrestling fans and their embracing of racism and racist tropes, whether it's supporting DX when they were doing their whole blackface skits, Vince McMahon walking around saying, "What up, my nigga?" Triple H beating Booker T in that very racist angle. So I've always had a love-hate relationship with wrestling, as a, you know, despite having my enjoyment of it, because it's one of those fictional sports where, because it's fictional, just like movie boxing up until Creed in this century, only white guys had to win, because that was the, you know, the message you put out in media. That propaganda is meant to keep people in their place, right? So as a wrestling fan, I've always had a little bit of uncomfortableness with that, the fact that there's always a white world champion, a white superstar, and have a black world champion in WWE until Kofi Kingston in 2019, right? Regardless, you know, we could say The Rock, but he was never really marketed as a black superstar until outside of the period he worked with the Nation of Domination. And even then, he's always leaned on his Samoan heritage more so than that black piece, you know? And, you know, this is not to say that biracial people can't be or not part of community, but culture is how you're raised. And I don't think The Rock got no aunties. He's probably got aunts or whatever the fuck Samoans call auntie in their language, but he don't have no black people. But anyhow, I digress. So when Hogan came out, WWE's doing their big Netflix debut. Not a plug, I don't even fucking got Netflix, right? Doing their whole Netflix debut, this nigga comes out trying to pump and everything else, and the crowd let him fucking have it. God bless. I mean, this is the same WWE that platformed our current, soon-to-be returning president. This is the same WWE that has the Secretary of Education, right? This is the same WWE that platformed all these racist ideas. And let's not forget, was owned and operated by a well-known sex pest and an alleged rapist and sex trafficker, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who, ironically, despite, you know, traveling, doing all this shit across state lines with females, his kids didn't get locked up. He wasn't denied bail, and he's still out there as far as I know. So, wonder what it is. Like, man, what other moguls running multinational conglomerates possibly could set the tone for the type of treatment that this guy could get? It befuddles me. Anyway, seeing wrestling fans come out and booing this motherfucker, giving him that reaction after his fucking work on the Trump campaign and on the fucking his racist situation with his best friend's wife, that was kind of fulfilling to me. Because when he came back, after saying, you know, letting his true racist cards fly out of his heart in that video, people still was looking to embrace him. You know what I mean? But I'm with the crew of wrestlers that's never gonna forgive this nigga because he didn't acknowledge his wrong. You know, like, if your apology starts with, "Hey, I'm sorry, but," like, that's not a real apology. Like, a true apology, you hold yourself accountable for what you've done and the ways that you've offended people. You don't try to justify it by saying, "Well, you know, it's how I grew up and we all said the N-word." Or, nigga, shut up. So, wrestling fans, I applaud y'all for that fucking response. keep on that nigga ass. Get him the fuck out of here. We don't want to see him back on any of our programming. You know what I mean? But also in 2025 news, just big channel, a little bit of a channel update now that we ran through some of the random shit that's at the top of my mind. So we're gonna get back to being consistent starting this week. So we're gonna publish at least twice a week around the midweek point and on Sundays. We're gonna try to get back to some more of the slice of life videos that y'all seem to run up the views on, right? And then we're also gonna just keep coming at you with the listen show just as consistently as we can because we're building out this platform. And 2025, we're gonna ride and we're gonna give y'all content to keep clicking back on and be out. And hopefully, the algorithm gods will pick us up. You guys will start subbing, and we're gonna keep growing the channel as we grow. I'm gonna start doing some book previews, some book reviews, etc. of my work, was because fuck that, I'm my favorite author, right? And let y'all know what the fuck is cooking on my Amazon page and everything else with that. And we're just gonna keep building the platform and growing heavier. If you've been viewing my shit, thank you very much for those of y'all that do. If you've been one of the few people that's commented, thank you. I've read every single comment. I responded to all, if not to most, if not all of the comments that are up there. And the thumbs and the likes and the all of that shit, all greatly appreciated. We is the smallest corner of YouTube. We got the smallest voice right now, but we building for 25, 26 through the rest. We building this platform up to see where it goes for time, right? All right. So I still don't have a actual outro. My engineer, my fucking editor, that nigga's gonna put up all that tag shit at the end. Like we did last time with all of our links and all of our projects and all of that shit. But in the meantime, it's cold outside. The millennium just got its prefrontal cortex. Keep your fucking eyes open, be aware, and hopefully you don't do nothing, no racist, stupid shit that's gonna get you booed out of the building when you return back to the place that you made yourself a legend.